Hello my friends, and welcome to today's tutorial. I'm Jeanette with Vivo Vintage Designs. Today's painting is not my typical style of painting, but lately I've really gotten into this abstract kind of painting because I find it so relaxing to just go with whatever the inks give you. Now, I did start this painting with a vision in mind. However, you know how the inks are. You plan and they laugh. So I am using different shades of blue. I'm using my embossing gun because I was doing laundry and I wanted this to go quickly. But if you don't have an embossing gun, you can use a blow dryer. And I'm also using Kirkland photo paper because it's much thicker than the Amazon Basics glossy photo paper, which is really good. I enjoy using it, but when I'm using the embossing gun, I want a paper that's a little bit thicker so that it doesn't warp. So you can see here that I am putting down different shades of blue and then some alcohol, and I am tilting my paper so that the puddle of ink falls towards the direction that I am drawing. And I'm twisting the paper as I go along so that I get some really interesting ripples and they go in different directions, and it just made it really more interesting. I envisioned a Picasso type of sky, very abstract. So you see I'm putting down the ink, then the alcohol, a little bit more ink, and then I'm just tipping the paper towards the blow dryer or the embossing gun so that the ink flows down. And that's how you create the ripples. Now, I know the Kirkland paper has become a little difficult to get. I don't even know if you can still get it. I happen to have a stash, so I use it sparingly. And but the Amazon Basics photo paper works really well. It's just not as thick or as heavy as the Kirkland photo paper. And of course, you know, I'm using the matte side, not the glossy side. I'm just going to go around and fill the entire top portion of this sheet of paper with this blue. And you can see how turning the paper changes the direction of the ripples and just makes it more interesting. So far this is looking really good and I'm pretty happy with it. And as I was creating this, like I said, I had a vision in mind of what I was going to create. But as I went along with this painting, I changed my mind and decided to do something different. And I wasn't sure how to go about it, so you'll see how I struggled through, but I think I made it happen. And of course, as I was doing this, I started getting lots of other ideas on how to achieve a better effect. And I'll probably do that in another video. Or at least give it a try. Again, you know, we plan and the inks laugh at us. Now, if you're using an embossing gun, be sure to keep it at a safe distance from the paper and to be quick. Don't hold it in the same area for too long because it will warp your paper and create these really ugly marks on the paper that you can't correct. Kind of sizzles the paper a little bit. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with the way the sky looks. So I decided to take my browns and I am going to just drip them on the bottom portion of this paper. And I'm envisioning kind of like some mountains. So I'm using the different shades of brown and just dripping it here and there, and then tilting my paper so that the excess is collected into the wee pad. Now I'm just dripping some alcohol to move that ink. And I kept adding a little bit more ink here and there. Again, I wasn't sure how to create the look that I wanted, so I just played with it until I got something that I was happy with. Then I decided to grab a little bit of alcohol and a micro brush and just drop some alcohol onto the paper. And you can see there's a little bit of white, well, there's a lot of white in the little cup that I'm using, but I didn't mind if it mixed in the painting as well. I just wanted to create more texture, and by tipping the paper forward so that as I put the alcohol on the ink that's on the paper, it would drip down a little bit. I was really happy with the way that looked. Now I'm going to take my Dr. P.H. Martin's acrylic ink in black, and I'm going to create some trees. I'm using a dotting tool for that. And again, I wasn't sure how this was going to look, but I just put the ink to the paper and went for it. I figured it's just paper and ink. If I don't like it, I can try it again. And you can see by putting down the just a little drop of the ink and then using the airbrush, it moves it and makes it very spidery. And then I tried to create some roots going down the mountainside by blowing the ink downward. And the more you wiggle the airbrush, the more wiggly your lines will be. And the PSI on my airbrush is set at 40. Now towards the end of the video, I realized that I could have used my glass pen to create the trunks of the tree, but I didn't realize that or think of it until much later on. So I just used the dotting tool, and that worked well also. So if you don't have the glass pen, use your dotting tool, or you can even use a toothpick. Now I'm trying to thicken up the branches of the tree. And then I decided to add a little one down here. And I love the way that sky looks. As always, if you'd like to know more about the products you see me using in this video, you can find links to everything in the description box. And if you have any questions about the techniques you've seen me use here, just leave it in the comments and I'll always get back to you. Also, we have a Facebook group called Vivo Vintage Design Tutorials, where you can post your versions of the paintings and techniques learned on this channel. We have a wonderful group of members. It's like a little family, and the group is growing very nicely. Our members are very supportive. You can showcase your paintings learned on this channel in the group. And if you get stuck, if you have some questions and you need some help, our members are always willing to help. And I'm very active in the group too. So I hope that you consider joining and that I see you there. So now I'm just trying to add a little bit more detail with the acrylic ink. Just thickening up some of the branches. And then I decided to create some pine trees. So I'm using the dotting tool. The first thing I did was draw a line with the dotting tool. And you can see I'm basically just scribbling in the shape of a pine tree. Very, very easy. Now I decided to use the glass pen, and I found that to be much faster. And I just rolled the tip of the pen in the ink, and it collects in those little lines in the pen. So the ink flows a lot longer and a lot easier using the glass pen. And I also found it very easy to use a glass pen to create the roots. You get some really fine lines. I noticed that I had a little dot in the center of the sky, so I decided to go with it and make a sun. I used a little sunshine yellow and a micro brush. And I put the sun in the center, and then I used the micro brush to create these lines going around the sun, almost like sun rays, I guess you could say. And I loved the way that looked. So I just continued to add these lines. As I needed to reload the micro brush, that's when I worked toward the outside. So we are nearing the end of this video. I hope that you enjoyed it and that you give this a try. Let me know if you have any questions. Check out the description box for links to the products used. And please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Your interaction is so helpful to my channel. It's a wonderful way to show your support, and I greatly appreciate it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.